An automatic transmission rebuild can cost between $3,000 and $7,000. That's the quote most mechanics give you before they even pop the hood. Some shops charge over $8,000 for luxury vehicles. The worst part is, a huge percentage of those rebuilds are completely unnecessary. Japanese engineers figured out decades ago that most slipping transmissions do not need to be torn apart. They need a 10-minute procedure that costs less than $50 in parts. No lift required, no special tools, no mechanic degree. This is not some internet myth. It comes directly from how Toyota, Honda, and Nissan have designed their transmissions and maintenance protocols for over 30 years. Today, I will walk you through exactly what the method is, why it works, when it will not work, and how you can do it yourself this weekend. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might save yourself thousands. First, let's talk about what is actually happening inside your transmission when it starts to slip. You are driving down the highway, you press the gas and the engine revs shoot up, but the car does not accelerate. Or you are pulling away from a stoplight and for a split second, it feels like the transmission drops into neutral before catching again. That hesitation, that disconnect between engine speed and vehicle speed, that is transmission slipping. And for most people, it triggers immediate panic. They go straight to the dealer, get quoted $4,000 for a rebuild, and assume their transmission is toast. But here is what nobody tells you. The number one cause of transmission slipping is not worn-out gears. It is not destroyed clutch packs. It is not a cracked torque converter. It is degraded transmission fluid. That is it. The fluid broke down, and when it breaks down, it loses its ability to create the hydraulic pressure. Your transmission needs to engage gears properly. The friction modifiers wear out. The detergents stop cleaning. The fluid gets thin, contaminated, and essentially stops doing its job. Your transmission hardware is fine. The liquid running through it is not. Now, here is where the Japanese secret comes in. I call it that because this philosophy originates directly from the engineering teams at Kaizen, the Japanese company that manufactures the majority of automatic transmissions on the road today. Kaizen, headquartered in Anjo, Japan, builds transmissions for Toyota, Lexus, Volvo, GM, Ford, and dozens of other manufacturers. They supply roughly 50% of the world's automatic transmissions. So when Kaizen publishes maintenance guidelines, it is not a suggestion. It is gospel. And what does Kaizen recommend? A simple drain and fill every 20,000 to 30,000 miles. Not a power flush, not a $300 dealer service. A basic drain and fill that takes about 10 minutes using the correct OEM specification fluid. That is the entire secret. Japanese transmission engineers designed these units to last 300,000 miles or more, provided the fluid is maintained on a regular schedule. The problem is most Americans never change their transmission fluid because the owner's manual says it is lifetime fluid. That phrase, lifetime fluid, is one of the most destructive lies in the automotive industry. Here is what lifetime fluid actually means. It means the fluid will last the lifetime of the warranty period. After that, the manufacturer does not care. Toyota's powertrain warranty is 5 years or 60,000 miles. So if the fluid lasts 60,001 miles, technically it did its job from the manufacturer's perspective. But your transmission is supposed to last 200,000 miles. By 80,000 miles, that original fluid is oxidized, contaminated with microscopic metal particles from normal wear, and has lost roughly 40% of its friction modifying capability. Your clutch packs inside the transmission cannot grip properly because the fluid is not allowing them to, hence the slipping. Here is the actual procedure. Step 1. Get your car up to operating temperature. Drive it for 10 to 15 minutes. You want the transmission fluid warm so it flows freely and drains completely. Step 2. Locate the transmission drain plug on the bottom of the transmission pan. On most vehicles, it is a simple bolt. Place a drain pan underneath and remove the plug. Let it drain completely. This usually takes about 3 to 5 minutes. You will get roughly 3 to 4 quarts out, which is about 1/3 of the total fluid capacity. Step 3, and this is critical. Replace only with the exact fluid specification your transmission requires. For Toyota and Lexus, use Toyota WS World Standard. For Honda, use Honda DW1. For Nissan, use Nissan Matic S or Nissan Matic D, depending on the year. Using the wrong fluid, even a so-called universal alternative, can destroy your transmission faster than running it dry. One forum user swapped in a multi-vehicle fluid on his Toyota, and within a week the transmission started slipping worse than before. The friction coefficient was completely wrong for his clutch pack material. Step 4. Replace the drain plug with a new crush washer and tighten to the manufacturer's torque specification, which is usually around 28 to 36 foot-pounds, depending on the vehicle. Overshoot this, and you crack the pan. If you do not tighten it enough, you will have a leak. Step 5. Add back the exact amount of fluid you drained. On most vehicles, that is between 3 and 4 quarts. Then, start the engine and cycle through every gear position: park, reverse, neutral, Voiceover, drive, and back, holding each for about 10 seconds. This circulates the fresh automatic transmission fluid through the valve body, servos, and clutch packs. That is it. 10 minutes, under $50 in materials, and here is where the magic happens. Multiple Toyota and Honda owners on the major forums have reported that this simple procedure eliminated slipping entirely. One Toyota Camry owner with 126,000 miles said his transmission went from slipping on steep grades to shifting like new after 3 consecutive drain and fill cycles spaced a few hundred miles apart. Another owner of a 2004 Highlander reported that Valvoline Max Life synthetic automatic transmission fluid resolved his slipping after repeated drain and fill cycles. Now here is the second part of the Japanese secret that most people miss entirely. After you change the fluid, you need to reset the transmission control module, or TCM. This is the computer brain that controls when and how your transmission shifts. Modern automatic transmissions are electronically controlled. The TCM learns your driving patterns and adjusts shift points accordingly. But here is the problem. If your transmission has been slipping for months with degraded fluid, the TCM has adapted to that slipping. It has compensated for it. It has learned bad habits. So when you put fresh fluid in and the transmission can suddenly grip properly again, the TCM is still running its old programming. This causes rough shifts, delayed engagement, and sometimes continued slipping because the computer is fighting the hardware. The fix is a TCM reset. On many vehicles, you can do this by disconnecting the battery for 30 minutes, which clears the adaptive memory. On others, you need a basic OBD2 scanner. Plug it in, navigate to the transmission control module, and select the command Clear Adaptive Memory or Reset TCM. After the reset, drive normally for 50 to 100 miles. Use gentle acceleration, maintain consistent speeds, and avoid aggressive driving. The TCM will relearn your shift points based on the new, healthy fluid conditions. Many drivers report it feels like a completely different transmission after this relearning period. Hey, before we continue, if you are learning something new here, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Now let me be completely honest with you about when this will not work. If your transmission fluid comes out black as coffee and smells burnt, you likely have internal damage that a fluid change cannot fix. Burnt fluid means the clutch material has been cooked. Once those friction surfaces are glazed or destroyed, no amount of fresh fluid will restore them. If you find metallic shavings or chunks on the drain plug magnet, that is evidence of serious internal wear, gear teeth, bearing material, or clutch plate fragments circulating through the system. A fluid change will not help. You are looking at a rebuild. If the transmission is making grinding or whining noises, regardless of fluid condition, that is a mechanical failure. Bearings, planetary gear sets, or the torque converter itself could be failing. Fluid will not fix metal-on-metal contact. And if your transmission has already been diagnosed with a failed solenoid, cracked valve body, or damaged torque converter, those are component failures that require replacement. A drain and fill will not repair broken hardware. But here is the thing most mechanics will not tell you. According to transmission specialists, a significant percentage of transmissions sent in for rebuilds had nothing wrong with the hard parts. The fluid was simply degraded to the point where the clutch packs could not engage. Fresh fluid would have fixed it, but the shop quoted the rebuild because that is a $3,500 job versus a $150 fluid service. I am not saying all shops are dishonest, but I am saying you should always try the cheap fix first. Here's why the Japanese approach works so well compared to the American power flush method. In the United States, quick lube shops love to sell you a transmission flush using a high-pressure machine. They hook into the cooler line and force all 12 to 14 quarts of new fluid through the system while pumping the old fluid out. Sounds thorough, right? The problem is that high-pressure flushes can dislodge debris that was safely trapped in the filter screen or stuck in corners of the valve body. That debris gets pushed into narrow passages and can actually cause more damage than the old fluid was causing. Multiple transmission specialists, including those on the Bob is the Oil Guy forum, one of the largest automotive lubrication communities in the world, strongly advise against machine flushes. The Japanese drain and fill method is gentle. You replace 1/3 of the fluid at a time. The fresh fluid mixes with the remaining old fluid, and the detergents in the new fluid gradually dissolve deposits without dislodging them violently. After 3 drain and fills spaced a few hundred miles apart, you have replaced roughly 90% of the old fluid. It is the same dilution principle used in chemistry. Gradual replacement, no shock to the system. Your transmission is eased into clean fluid rather than slapped with it. Let me break down the real cost comparison. 3 drain and fills with OEM fluid cost roughly $40 to $60 in fluid total, plus maybe $5 in crush washers. Call it $65 if you do it yourself. A transmission control module reset with a basic OBD2 scanner costs $0 if you borrow one, or $30 to $50 if you buy a budget scanner you will use for years. Total investment under $100 and about 30 minutes of actual work spread over a few weeks. Now compare that to the alternative. A transmission rebuild runs $2,500 to $4,500 at an independent shop. A dealer rebuild runs $4,000 to $7,000. A complete transmission replacement with a remanufactured unit is $3,000 to $8,000 installed. You are potentially saving thousands of dollars with a procedure that takes less time than cooking dinner. And this is not just about fixing a problem. This is about prevention. The reason Toyota and Lexus vehicles routinely hit 300,000 miles with the original transmission is because Japanese engineers designed these units with maintenance in mind. Kaizen publishes service intervals for a reason. If you follow them, specifically the 20,000 to 30,000 mile drain and fill interval, your transmission will outlast the rest of the car. One Toyota Avalon owner on Toyota Nation forums reported changing his transmission fluid every 50,000 miles on multiple vehicles, and every single one of them shifted like new past 200,000 miles. He never dropped the pan, never changed the filter, just consistent drain and fills with the correct WS fluid. His dealer confirmed a fluid exchange was sufficient and said they never drop a pan either. Here is your action plan. If your transmission is currently slipping, check the fluid first. Pull the dipstick if your vehicle has one. If the fluid is dark red or brown but does not smell burnt, you are a candidate for the drain and fill method. Do 3 drain and fills spaced about 500 miles apart. Use only the manufacturer-specified fluid. Reset your transmission control module, TCM, after the final fill. Drive gently for 100 miles to let the system relearn. If the slipping stops, congratulations, you just saved yourself $3,000 to $7,000. If it does not stop, then get a proper diagnosis from a transmission specialist, not a general mechanic, not a quick lube, a dedicated transmission shop. If your transmission is currently shifting fine, start doing preventive drain and fills every 30,000 miles. Ignore the lifetime fluid claim in your owner's manual. That designation exists to make the maintenance schedule look attractive on the dealer brochure, not to protect your transmission past the warranty period. The Japanese engineers who actually built your transmission say to change the fluid regularly. Listen to the people who built it, not the people who sold it. That's all for today. If you found this useful, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you do not miss the next video. Drop a comment below if you have tried this method and let me know how it worked out for you. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.